away, days burn, disintegrate, years roll along and fade. Don't let them slip away. Right here, right now, today. These are the good old days. Right here, right now, today. Hey, these are the good old days.
In the 1980s, because we were bombarded by so many cool new toys coming out seemingly all the time, we of course got some of the most iconic toys ever. So much so that these characters and toys have remained in pop culture to this day. Toys like He-Man and Optimus Prime and Skeletor and Snake Eyes and Duke and Cobra Commander, just to name a few. But there were some toys that defined a decade beyond the genre of toys. Things that became so iconic that they are forever tied to the 80s. Not just 80s toys, but to the 80s. Things like a suction cup Garfield, a Rubik's Cube, those Muppet Baby Happy Meal toys, even that green Tupperware bowl we all use to have popcorn in. One of those toys that crossed over from being an iconic toy to an icon of the 80s was Voltron. Almost every house I knew in the 80s had a Voltron of some sort, and there was all kinds of Voltrons to pick from. Different sizes, different materials, different companies, but Voltron was there. These 5 lions that would combine to make one giant battling robot. Luckily, I was recently able to acquire the Voltron I most wanted in the 80s. All of my toy collecting was action figure based, and there was one Voltron that had action figures that could ride inside of it. And that was the Panosh Place Voltron. Recently, I picked one up that's in really rough shape. And today, we're going to see if we can't rescue it.
Alright, so here is our Panosh Place Voltron robot, and you can see it's in pretty rough shape. The good thing is all 5 lions are here, but all the chrome is kind of coming off of it. You can see there, the joints are real wobbly. He won't stand right now without toppling over because the joints are so loose. And there's some damage here. You can see one of his wings is broken. His neck won't stay up. If you put him in robot mode, his neck just kind of rattles down and falls. So we have a lot to fix on him, so let's get going. So the first thing we're going to do is take the robot apart so we can easily work on the different pieces. And so he functions well. His joints and attachments are all working well. So that's good. Now once we have him apart, the first thing we're going to address is these loosey-goosey limbs here. So the legs, like I say, he won't stand with the way they are. So we're going to do the old trick where you take some cling food wrap, and we're just going to wrap it around the internal joint, stretching it, and that'll tighten those joints up real nice. Alright, and once we have that done, the joints are nice and tight now, and he'll be able to stand excellently. The next thing we're going to do is crack out our chrome paint marker and just get to work on all these different chrome areas in this robot. Now, after a considerable amount of time, the chrome is looking great on these, so I'm very happy with the way all these lions turned out, and their chrome is looking sharp. So the next thing we're going to address is this loose neck joint. So it's just on a slider here, and so what I'm going to do is very delicately with a paper clip, just apply a few layers of super glue, not into the joint, just on the neck itself, making the plastic a little bit thicker. And so 3 or 4 thin coats of super glue should tighten this joint right up. Alright, now after letting that super glue dry, we see our head joint here is nice and tight. Doesn't wiggle or wobble anymore. It goes in and out, and it holds in place really, really well here. I'm very happy with the way that turned out. Now the next thing is on his head here. Voltron had some ears, some little ear flaps that we need to design up, and they just go along these ridges here. So let's go into our 3D space and design those up. Alright, so there is our printed ear flaps there, and they look pretty great, and if I did our job properly, they'll just snap right into place. Now the next thing is this broken wing, and now I would be tempted just to build a whole new wing and print that off. But this joint here is in such good tight shape, I'd hate to wreck that. So I'm actually going to print off, or try to print off, just a patch for this wing, and we'll see if that'll work. Alright, now here is our patch we printed off, and that should line up right with this wing. Yeah, that was pretty good. And so I'm just going to hit it with a little dab of hot glue to hold it in there. That way, if I get a replacement wing or decide to print off a whole wing, we can just snap this piece off. We're not going to make it any worse, but that hot glue will just hold the patch right on there. Alright, so that actually worked fairly well. I like the way that looks. It seems to be a sturdy fit, and it's a great little fix and patch to that wing. Alright, so the original lions that came with the Panosh Place Voltron had these clear canopies, so you could see the pilots that were inside them. Now that was not screen accurate to the Voltron show, but was a cool little feature. So none of the lions I have their canopies. So we're going to go and design some up for each of them. But I'm going to try and print them off in a matching color to the lion, so that we'll have functioning canopies, but they'll also be a little bit more screen accurate. Alright, so here's our blue lion canopy, and that'll just snap into place there, and for all intents and purposes it fits fairly well. And so that'll be our blue canopy. The color's a little off, but I think it's going to work. Now the yellow lion had the same canopy, but it had a cannon in the top, so I had to print that one off with a little hole in it, so you can put a cannon in that thing later. Now the canopies for the red and green lions are a little bit different, so we're going to design up a new canopy for those ones. All right, and here's the canopy for our green lion, and it just fits into place, and it fits fairly well. And we'll print off exactly the same one because the red lion should be exactly the same. And so there they are. Now they do need some stickers, so let's go into our PowerPoint and see if we can make up some stickers for these bad boys. Alright, so here's our sticker sheet we've made up. Now I printed them onto some sticker paper, and I'm just going to cut them out and apply them. Now the next step is to design a cannon to go on top of the yellow lion's canopy. Alright, so here's our lion with the cannon on top, and I think with these canopies being the same color as the lions and the stickers on, they actually look pretty great. I'm very happy with how these turned out. Now it's just time for one more thing.
Ready to form Voltron! Let's go, Voltron Force! Form feet and legs! Form arms and body! And I'll form the head!
Now as good as this Voltron looks, he does need some weapons. So...
Form blazing sword!
Alright, and we'll just give Voltron his sword. And once his sword's in his hand, we're just going to make up his star cutter weapon, and we'll be all set. Alright, we'll just give this bad boy to Voltron, and I think he should be ready for the shelf.
So there's our restoration of the Panosh Place Voltron. I'm ecstatic with the way it came out. I'm so happy to finally have this piece in my collection. If you like what we're doing today, if you had as much fun as we did, if you like, share, subscribe, comment on the video. If you feel so inclined, you can support us on Patreon. But all that being said, the most important thing is hopefully we see you back for the next video.